I rang in the new year by watching the fireworks at Central Park. 2020 started with an abundance of hope. Now that I was settled in the city of my dreams, I was ready to make 2020 my year. Little did I know what was about to come. Things started off pretty well. I was working hard making ends meet, but also looking for full-time employment. In the meantime, I continued my exploration of New York City since NYC was still so new to me. I visited a variety of neighborhoods, checked out different sites, participated in tours, and of course, ate a lot of very good food. I even traveled to the state of New Jersey for the first time. However, I soon got some bad news. I wouldn't be able to continue living in my apartment, so I had to find a new place. I was sad to leave. My room was far from perfect, but I really liked it. Fortunately, I found an apartment that was nearby and in a number of ways much better than my first. Life was pretty good. As the month of March approached, dark clouds were on the horizon. The bustling New York City I knew, one jam-packed with people, was about to dramatically change. It all happened so fast. One of the most vibrant cities on earth turned into a ghost town. We were in lockdown. It was a very scary time. There was so much uncertainty, so much sadness for the lives being lost and those getting sick. Jobs were lost, businesses were closing, and the economy was in a tailspin. I watched as the hospital near me built a triage tent to handle the overflow of coronavirus patients. Long lines at grocery stores became the norm, and a mask was now an essential accessory. But New York City is resilient. As winter turned to spring, cases started declining as the effects of quarantine were beginning to show. The world may have changed, but I was still in one of its greatest cities. With restaurants closed for dining, I ate an abundance of amazing takeout food and subsequently watched a lot of shows and movies on Netflix, HBO Max, and Disney Plus throughout the year. It clearly wasn't the same as dining out, but I was still eating great food and was safe in my apartment. The pandemic severely limited the opportunities available, but I still made the best of it. With the arrival of summer, New York City started to open back up. Most important to me was the fact that restaurants were open for socially distant outdoor dining, which I took full advantage of, but I still stuck mostly to takeout. I also took advantage of the fact that NYC and most of the country were experiencing record lows in the number of COVID cases, so I paid a visit to my parents in the Chicago suburbs. Traveling during the pandemic was very strange, but the week I spent with my family was one of the best of the year. After being apart from my parents for so long, I knew just how special this week was going to be the moment I set foot back home. It was also the perfect tranquil escape from New York City. It gave me a chance to recharge and relax. When the world outside became so dire, I was able to lose myself in the 35 books I read throughout the year. I was not only entertained, I learned a lot. I also managed to produce 2 drawings. While I should have been more productive, I'm at least happy with the works I created. One big help in 2020 was the new gear I obtained. This aided me in my photography and videography. Overall, I was really pleased with the photographs I took throughout the year. Despite the weak world economy, I still managed to license 4,072 photos through stock photography to provide some much needed income. When I came back to NYC, I knew the warm weather wouldn't last, so I made it a point to get outside and take advantage of this incredible city, from exploring its amazing neighborhoods to eating at its spectacular restaurants. I had so much great food. I even ate lamb kidneys for the first time. I even got to do some small travel, like a day trip to Long Beach, New York, and a visit to Stamford, Connecticut. Despite some good times, the world was still in a pandemic. Death and sadness were abundant. Worldwide protests occurred as a result of horrific racism. This prompted a citywide curfew, with businesses boarding up their windows to prevent damage. As the year crept towards its end, hope and change were coming. With the end of the year on the horizon, things are still far from normal, but like I learned in 2020, it's about making the best of it. While I couldn't have a traditional Thanksgiving with my family, it was instead a nice evening at a restaurant with a friend. I opened presents alone in my apartment during Christmas, but I did get to see my family in a way over a Zoom call. Even though large parties weren't an option on New Year's Eve, it was still a great evening that I spent with my roommates to ring in 2021. Obviously, this past year didn't go as planned, but I feel as if I don't have much of a right to complain when people faced much greater hardships than I have. Despite everything, there was some really great times, and through it all, New York City was there for me. I love New York.